This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening. The Town of Cottage Grove Plan Commission will hold a public meeting on Wednesday, May 28, 2025 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, 4058 County Road N. We are live, but you can also join us at GoToMeeting. We have a quorum. The meeting was posted, and I'll call the meeting to order, and let's do the minutes of last month's meeting.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Hampton, second by Myler to approve the minutes as presented. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next item, public concerns. The public's opportunity to speak to the Plan Commission about any subject that is not a specific agenda item. Nothing online, Kim?
Raising their hand or anything.
Okay. Next item, Kirk and Heidi Eilenfeld, petitioners and landowners, rezone of 2 acres parcel 0711-144-8001-0, excuse me, on Ridge Road from FP 35 to RR1 to create a new residential lot using the RDU transferred from parcel 0711-273-9600-0. And this is tabled from our April meeting.
Do you want us up there? Do you have any questions? Or I think we answered what you had last time, changed it to 2 acre lot. Anything else you need us to address or?
You're okay with a 2 acre lot, correct?
I've got 40 acres there, so I'm okay with it. If I go over the line, I'm the one that's gonna have to answer to this. I just don't want to use up any more than I have.
Yeah, that's fine. When we started working the math on the first meeting, like we count the road in there, there's a house, and that's why we thought, well,
Like I say, our intent is not to build there, it's just to transfer it there for right now, so it's just a holding unit for us, but if it's easier to change it to 2, we'll change it to 2.
but it's,
There's a rectangle closer to the, right next to the bike path and road. What is that?
A rectangle?
Yeah,
It's penned in with a pen.
Oh, last time I talked about, well, eventually I'm gonna build another pole shed for dry storage possibly, if I pen that in, I don't have it on mine.
oh, this thing?
Yeah,
That's
eventually,
a proposed?
yeah, eventually, like explain why I built this set up this way, eventually there'll be a pole shed here, probably for dry storage, and then I can do this in case of dryer bins for crane. For semi turnout. So I didn't have it on here. But
Yeah, I
eventually,
didn't see
it'd
it.
be an offsetting pole shed to this one for cold storage.
Is this going to be continued to be farmed?
I'll farm as much as I can. I don't like mowing lawn.
Does this placement kind of limit what you can get in for
No, because
equipment in that?
I've got a garden in there right now too, so I would put my garden in there. I'm gonna infill it probably with the garden. There'd be a shed, and maybe the grain bins too. What I don't want to do is get limited where I can't turn semis around. If I come in, I don't know how the grain bins are gonna be set up, but somewhere I need grain bins to make my turnaround with the semis in there too. So it's not gonna be lost land. I'm gonna use it either as, gardening or
Okay,
grain bins or something. I just want to,
it's not gonna screw up the farming of it.
no. Just that's the easiest way if I bring semis in is to bring them in that way and then get them turned around.
Mhm.
I just don't want to be limited.
Huh?
there's a little circle there, probably green bins.
No. Yeah, it goes a little circle in here.
You have the Barron Cot survey too, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not the very top, the other one.
You guys have this one here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else have any questions, comments?
Maybe for a motion?
I am ready.
I'll move approval of the 2.002 acres being rezoned to RR1 for a new residential lot using that RDU that was transferred last month.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Tom. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion to rezone the 2.002 acre parcel. That basically what we approved last month. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried.
Just go to the town board now and Susan.
Monday night,
When is that?
Monday night,
From Monday?
yep.
All right, thank you.
Next item, Allison Rodriguez and Jose Rodriguez Moreno, petitioners and landowners, parcel 0711-141-8200-5 at 4185 Ridge Road. Rezone 1.1 acres from SFR1 to RR1 with a CUP for a limited family business, small remodeling business, including a 35 by 60 accessory building for storage and carpentry shop space. This also was tabled from the April meeting.
Yeah, can you hear me?
She is online.
Can you hear me? I'm online. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so since the last meeting, we had a plumber come out to our property and confirm the location, and we looked at records from the county as well as far as the location of our drain field. So we confirmed that the driveway will go over the main line that goes between the septic tank and the drain field, but it will not go over the drain field. Same with the loading, unloading area outside of that pole barn. It's going to be a good distance from the actual drain field itself, which was kind of the main concern last month.
How long is this driveway going to be?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know.
The question last time was mainly where they're coming over the drain field, correct?
Yeah.
Answered that, so.
That doesn't have to be built to town road standards because of the length.
Yeah, well, that's the reason why I asked how long it
Yeah.
was. I mean, it's not.
It's
pri-
a secondary.
Correct,
drive, more or
it's-
less.
Exactly.
It's not the main entrance or.
And if you're gonna battle a fire, you're gonna be better off right on the road. Feet away, it's like 71 feet away. See that distance, Steve?
Oh, sure. I did not see that.
And the Ridge
Yeah,
Road-
you're right.
West Ridge is right there, so you're not gonna have to access that thing from the driveway.
Yeah, I think they could pull 70 feet of hose.
Shoot
Yeah.
They don't want to.
What?
They won't want to.
No.
They'll figure it out. Not that I don't have to do it anymore. I don't care.
Could they ever pull a load off them? They went to the shop,
Be too close to the corner.
too close to the corner.
Yeah.
Main vehicles going down to that shed are gonna be a pickup truck and a trailer, right?
Correct.
No semis,
No.
so I'd take care of that. But just light vehicles. I'd hate to back that thing around there anyway. A semi.
Mhm.
Will there be any outside storage in that loading and unloading area?
I don't believe so. I think with the addition of the pole barn, we should be able to fit all of our trailers, and we have a skid steer. All of that should be able to fit inside of the buildings.
I don't see any other real issues.
You do need to go all through all those conditions for the conditional use permit though. Did you guys bring your packet from last few month or no?
Did not bring that portion of it. I did not.
Okay.
So that's. Before I go through the CUP stuff, did we discuss about extra employees and so on? That this wasn't gonna be like a normal business where you have lots of comings and goings with outside employees, or is this all gonna be family?
Well, it's a limited family business, so they'll have to stay within those constraints.
They can have one non-family.
Full-time equivalent. That's not family.
Are you gonna have one additional non-family member full-time?
Yes, that's what we have right now, and my husband and myself.
Kids in no.
All right,
Do you want me to read these from the last time? If you don't have them with you,
yeah, go ahead.
share it here, but, okay, so the establishment, maintenance, or operation of the conditional use will not be detrimental or endanger the public health, safety, or comfort or general welfare. And their response was the limited family business is a residential remodeling business. It will operate entirely within the accessory buildings on the property or in customers' homes. That's number one.
Satisfied.
Number two is the uses, values, and enjoyment of other property in the neighborhood for purposes already permitted shall be in no foreseeable manner substantially impaired or diminished by establishment, maintenance, or operation of the conditional use. And their response was the neighborhood is rural and dispersed, limited family business, that this conditional use would facilitate is small enough in size and similar in nature to other activities happening in the neighborhood that it will not diminish the uses, values, or enjoyment of other properties in the neighborhood.
Satisfied?
Yep.
Okay, number three, the establishment of the conditional use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of the surrounding property for uses permitted in the district. Their response was no, the conditional use would enable the owners to build an additional accessory building for business purpose. This additional building would make it possible for all business activities to happen within the accessory buildings on the property. This will not impede the normal and orderly development of surrounding properties.
True.
True.
Satisfied.
Number 4, adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary site improvements have been or are being made to accommodate the conditional use. And their response is no additional access roads will be needed to accommodate the conditional use. Utilities, electrical will be connected to the house during construction, and drainage will be planned so as to not cause issues with neighboring property.
True.
True.
Number 5, adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide ingress and egress so designed as to minimize traffic congestion in the public streets. And their response is yes, the conditional use should not impact traffic congestion in the public streets.
True.
True.
Number 6, the conditional use shall conform to all applicable regulations of the district in which it is located. And their response is yes, the limited family business that would operate on the property fits clearly within the definition of a limited family business. All business operations would happen in accessory buildings, and only one full-time equivalent employee is not a family member residing on the premises.
Okay.
And 7 is the conditional use is consistent with the adopted town and county comprehensive plans. Their response is the conditional use to run a small residential remodeling business is similar in nature but smaller in scale to other businesses currently operating on neighboring properties.
Yep.
True.
And the other one is, the last one is to do with farmland preservation, which does not apply.
Correct. I'll move to approve.
Motion by Mule to approve the rezone request and the CUP request. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Troy. Any discussion?
Should we add that there would not be any outside storage?
Overnight. That's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that the proposed driveway will be built?
Yeah,
Versus them just using the lawn.
Yeah.
Okay.
that's fine.
Just a gravel driveway, so
Right.
Everybody okay with that?
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Motion.
if EMS had to come, they would want to drive down, they wouldn't want to go the 70 feet.
True.
Yep.
Motion is second with the addition.
Second.
Okay.
Conditions.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next item, Dale R. Houston petitioner, DJH Land Holdings LLC property owner. Design review for the proposed rebuilding of existing shed granary into an additional office building for the R.G. Houston Company.
Good evening, Dale Houston, my nephew Wade here, with Houston Company. We'd like to take the old granary, which was the original office for R.G. Houston back about 60 years ago, 55, 60 years ago up there, and convert it back to some more office space. We've just decided to do that this spring, late winter, early spring, to do it there. Dwight's not here, my brother, he's the one that suggested it, so we can talk about.
Blame him.
And we reached out to some people that worked with us before, architects and engineers and a local contractor that worked for us before, and kind of put it together real quick. And we'd like to use the same concept of the red roof building as the pole frame with oak instead of the Douglas fir there. Galvanized roof, brick on the side of the building, exactly the same brick that's on the red roof building, same company that built it back then, made it back then, modular, not queens or kings. The windows will match the garden center office and kind of blend in together. So we plan on making the granary conference room up above, conference room down below, and no offices in there, just the offices out in the new park. We, we were going to go down to 8 stories with a few people, but just too far away, and we gotta keep them together. So we're growing with a little bit more business in different areas, and we kind of need some more office space. We had the granary engineered for structure, and we could have brought it back to the way it was, but we kind of decided to go over it, and we're gonna use 6 panels. Scott Foley of Ultimate is gonna do the 6 panels with the styrofoam, high energy heating, and boiler, underground heat for boilers for the in-floor heat in there. Should be pretty efficient. Talked to the gas company, they're gonna come in off the Coffee Town with a new service instead of you coming out of the garden center. They thought it'd be better to come in that way if we want to expand. We kind of got all the engineering done and approved. We just got to get caught up here. We actually didn't think about doing this until late winter, early spring.
So the conference room was on the main floor?
We're gonna have 2 of them.
Yeah. The granary is a conference room too?
Yes.
Okay.
Upstairs and downstairs.
Yeah.
The guys are always doing virtual and just always, and you got so much of that
We have
going
2
on.
now, and it's not enough.
And but the granary, the old granary downstairs, that was at my horse barn out to the west of it, and upstairs was the office, and but we were going to put the stairs inside the granary going up, but we take too much room out of there for floor space. So we're getting engineered stairs coming up the main alley of the offices, steel frame coming up. We thought we'd have, if we did it with wood, we'd have too much wood in there. We were gonna make a steel frame with a cement pads. But they come into there with a little mezzanine. Upstairs will be the office, quiet office. Downstairs will be the guys getting together and just talking over, arguing, you know. We have our foremans coming in, the superintendent's coming in,
How are you thinking?
and we thought once a week, that's probably once every 2 days they come in. Things change. Everything changes so fast. We're just lucky that we most of our work is in Dane County, isn't it, Wade? Most of it's in Dane County. We do some bridges and different
Dells,
Blake and Dells, but yeah, but most of it is in Dane County. We're demolitioning now and doing storing. We're pretty fortunate.
Is your main entrance going to be on the south side of the building?
Yes. That's gonna be the same, it's exactly the same entrance as on the north side of our Red Roof building. The two side entrances, the one to the south of the new addition is going to be exactly like going to the south of the north they're all the same as the other building.
Mhm.
They'll be walking back and forth from one office to the other, and it's the same as they do now, walking back to the garden center. I call it the garden center, the old garden center. That's been an office off and on and for 40 years.
You said you're gonna absorb, you're not tearing out the old granary, you're gonna absorb it into the building. The stone foundation.
The stone foundation, we got it certified. Paid an engineer to look at it, to make sure it's structural. We just dressed it up a little bit with, filled in, tuck pointed it and looks pretty nice.
With that loft and the ADA stairway, however that's built, you don't have to have an elevator to it because it's a loft.
No, it's a conference room. It's not offices. Then you have to have ADA for offices. It's past the state already approved it.
Okay.
It's a conference room.
You've actually got another conference room on the first floor
Right,
anyways, if you need it.
We kind of made that statement, Dwight and I, maybe we might need to have an elevator in there to get up there. I don't know. But if that comes to that, then maybe they don't want us up there.
No,
Well,
don't blame you.
you can see the look on his face.
Getting expensive.
No, we did, not that we have to, Chris, we might in the future, but we don't have. It's going to be, I think it's going to be comparable to the other building, just that the windows are going to be different. That's an office building. We got the windows for that out of a building down in Ohio. And this is going to blend into the garden center building. And that's going to be bricked the same way. So we have a band of granite on the bottom for base, and the sills will be another band of granite. Otherwise, it's going to be brick. Same band going around this building as the, I think we got two going around the building, the band of, and corbelled up 3 bands around the windows. It'll be the same thing. It'll blend in pretty good, like it's been there. Planned.
Any idea of what type of shrubs you're gonna be putting in at all, or how big they're going to be for starters?
Well, kinda not. I kinda like to have a hardscape going around the building next to the parking lot so that the water doesn't get underneath the parking lot and crack it all up. Maybe some stone or maybe some pots with some plantings, but I don't want to dig anything down and put root systems in and then water them, and then it gets out into that's the worst thing can happen to a parking lot is get water underneath and freeze it. But going to the north, we fix that up a little bit. We saved 2 aluminum maples going to the south. My dad planted them, and we saved them. And I don't want to put, if I do anything, it'll have to be in the planner going to south.
on the south side.
So the east side will be greenery and the locust
Yeah.
tree is there. And a couple of apple trees to the north on the lawn will complement them a little bit more, but the parking lot is, we can take a look at that. We'll see, we don't want to put too much in there.
No, I like the general layout as you've got it here. I was
We're gonna put,
just asking the question, I mean, when we've had shrubbery requirements, you know, we haven't been as specific as perhaps we should be, and some other commercial properties have met the intent by plantings, you know, stuff probably this tall, I'm exaggerating a little bit like this, but, and I'm just asking, you know, but I like the idea, or I'm not necessarily married to the idea that it actually has to be in the ground. You know, I mean, appearance is gonna be everything, whether it's in
It'll be dressed.
a nice pot or a wooden planter or whatever.
yeah,
We'll make it look nice.
yeah, we can go above ground with a planter between the windows, maybe 4 windows to the north and to the south. I'm not so concerned about the north. I'm worried about the south and the east, where I've got the parking lot there. I think I go above the ground there. We will. And otherwise I have to put drain tile in and drain it.
You're probably more concerned with the north side anyhow off the roadway. Appearance. No one's gonna see the south side really for common general public.
Right.
No, correct, unless you're actually pulling up into the building and stuff, you know, but you're right, I mean, those back and forth on Coffee Town, you know, I mean, that's
You can look pretty hard.
90% of the building. I mean, it's even back far enough from N that unless you're looking, kind of blends in with everything else there, maybe not after the rest of the structures there, but, you know, I mean,
We gotta clean that up a little bit better on the lawn there. We neglected it for 40 years, 20 years, something like that. But we took a few trees out of there that were marginal last couple of years, and
He's clean it up once the construction's done.
it opened it up quite a bit there. We don't want to get it too full. We put some curbing gutter in, which we want to do.
The parking lot on the east side, is that all just gonna stay there or you
Well, that'll be there.
remove any or?
It'll stay there. We want to put some hardscaping next to the granary now, get out a little ways.
Okay.
And put a curb in there. And go right around, go and go up the other driveway. So we're probably re-asphalt that. I think they buried electricity this year, didn't they?
Well, we come in off the main driveway up and to the garden center.
We buried that. Kept hitting it all the time. And bury it and put new services
And
in.
upgrade it.
you gonna have to put a new well in, or you gonna tap off something existing?
So that well on the corner it's new and
Using the existing well.
yeah, up in the, we did that when Senex was a little shaky over there, so we put a new well in. See, probably 20 years ago, but it's a new well in there.
Anybody else have any questions, comments, concerns?
Nothing for me. I think it'll look nice when they're done, for sure.
I would agree.
Nice update to the area.
I'm sorry?
It'll be a nice update to the area.
Yeah,
I would move approval as presented.
motion by Hampton. Is there a second?
I'll second
Second by Tom to approve the design review for the proposed new office building. Is there any discussion? What's that?
In these documents.
Okay.
Pass.
All right. No discussion, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
And you don't have to go to the town board. This just goes to the plan commission, so you're done.
That's right. Well, we got.
Unless you want to come say hi or something.
Thank you. It's,
Yeah.
I have input on the next item.
What's that?
I have input on the next item.
Right.
All right, next item. Vinnie Acres LLC petitioner and landowner, parcel 0711-331-8000-7 and 0711-331-9502-8 on North Star Road. Rezone of 21.76 acres to general commercial for a 7-lot commercial subdivision and 3.99 acres to utility, transportation, and right-of-way. Next, preliminary plat review for the 7-lot commercial subdivision. And then lastly, consider adoption of resolution 2025-05-28, recommending conditional approval of the Vinnie Acres Business Park.
I have to go get those resolutions. They're still in the office. Do you want me to do that now? That resolution?
Sitting on your desk.
It's somewhere in there. I'm not sure if it's right on my desk.
Don't be messing with Kim's desk. Take a breath.
You may.
Pass that on when we get to that point, but
I'm sorry?
we can pass those around, yeah, now or when we get to that point.
Well, Chris Gasson with Burn Cat Surveying, representing down in Maryland, Vinnie, bringing something more to North Star Road. Don had purchased, I think it was a little around 50 acres or so, and kind of through a process here, decided to let go of the acreage to the kind of north and northwest, actually to Houston here. And I think it just benefited them maybe a little bit more with what, maybe they got coming in the future or something like that. So I think it was, being the two pieces were kind of separate in nature, even though it's kind of part of the same property, they're kind of separate in nature when it comes to engineering and things like that. So I think it made kind of a good fit for both parties. So he decided to continue with the southeast side here. I think we got seven lots in there. And kind of read through some of the, comments, Rockers had in Town and Country. I think a lot of this stuff is, pretty cookie cutter, stuff, which some of the stuff isn't represented on the preliminary plan. We'll get that done. Some of the comments came after I got all this to Kim, so I didn't want to really come with something way different than what you guys had or something, so. A lot of comments with easements and making sure that we've got everything shown correctly on here. I think Kim Bannigan, you had some emails flying around that I think we answered for you with Hans Hilbert and the waterway.
That wasn't me, I think. I mean, I chimed in because I found that navigable stream determination, but that wasn't me that was talking about it. I don't know if that was with Nick or I don't remember who was on.
Well, that could have been, yeah. We did get Hans Hilbert in there and he deemed it as a non-navigable streamway, all the way from 12 and 18 all the way to North Star with a navigable streamway starting on the east side of North Star Road. Yeah. I brought a copy. I don't know if you guys had a copy. I think we emailed it over to the town so you guys could have that. That's a pretty important piece.
80 pages?
No, it was just a few pages. It was actually quite simple. Never really been through the process and called him up, and for $150, he came out and looked at it, wrote us a report and said it's not navigable. And I went, wow, it's the best $150 I ever spent or ever been a part of. So, yeah. So long story short, I think Roffers mentioned something about maybe dedicating a certain amount. So we kind of took, I think, liberty of putting the extra in. I forget his comment off the top of my head. There was some also comment about.
Should we be doing the zoning first?
Oh, sure, yeah.
If the zoning first and then do this. What he has. We could.
Might as well,
What's that?
might as well.
Okay.
Basically taking it from 1835 into general commercial.
Correct.
Yeah, from Roffers suggested that the lots that are visible from 12 and 18 at a minimum be the ones that are used general commercial for zoning.
I think the size of the lots kind of personally dictate that. It's more of a general.
Everything that out there has been general commercial.
But wasn't there? Okay.
Can I make a motion?
Go ahead.
I make a motion to approve the general commercial zoning for the 21.76 acres, but not include daycare centers, indoor entertainment or assembly, transit, or tourist lodging would not be allowed.
Read those again,
Daycare, indoor entertainment or assembly, and the transit or tourist lodging, we would not allow.
No Motel 6s.
But everything else in the permitted uses we would. So I think that's what we've done for the other ones out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's 3.99 acres that would be UTR. I don't think you guys got a copy of the county zoning application, did you?
No,
I thought it was all in there, but it's not. Let me share this. So it's 21.76 general commercial, 3.99 UTR.
So you want me to include the 3.996 acres as zoned UTR in my motion?
Here somewhere.
I'll do that.
It's actually the drainage way. If we get it to come up. Oops.
Do we need to go ahead and incorporate the recommendations that Roffers, or at least reference the correspondence from both Roffers and from Town and Country?
That's more
It's
to the
all
plat.
That's the plat.
Okay.
Here's your, you can see the map here. The UTR is the ditch, basically.
You want to take some of the permitted uses out of the UTR? Just questioning.
No, because it's gonna be dedicated to the public, so it's ours to control.
Okay, because they got bicycling and hiking trails. So I doesn't
Think the town's gonna put them in?
matter. But I could see somebody riding their bike through there in the mud. Just a thought.
Everybody's heard the motion. Do we have a second?
Sure.
Motion by Hampton, second by Mule. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Now we can get to work on the rest of it.
Plat.
One question I had on the map is lot 4. Is it kind of questioning whether or not it's gonna perk at all? The reason why you've got holding tank in there?
We had Rick Harrow in there, and he deemed kind of these spots as being able to be perkable. We've got to get him in there to actually design something, but he did deem these areas as septic areas that would be suitable. The reason for the septic area or holding tank is potentially, I think, grading, because we got to try to grade things a certain way to get things around there and down to the outlot. I did not bring a copy of his.
I think Brian Arcand is on, right, Kim?
Yes.
I think he could probably answer that stuff probably better than any. So I just kind of saw it unique, just that one lot, you know, and
He's on.
All I can hear is, I think there's birds on the ceiling again. You hear that?
Yep.
You guys hear me?
Brian, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me or no?
Now we can.
Okay, there you go. I could pull up, Rick, I don't have the perk. I guess this is the first I'm seeing the layouts for the holding tanks that Chris has, so I don't know how they relate to the perk tests, but we were trying to minimize grading as much as possible, because I guess the septic stuff has to be, you know, on undisturbed soil, but we still need to move the water to the outlots, so doesn't necessarily end up in the most ideal spots on every lot, but you know, we gotta move the stormwater to where it needs to get to. So a certain portion, you know, is gonna have to be mass graded.
no, I get that. I was just concerned that there was only the lot 4 that had the additional text of holding tank, whereas everything else is just approximate septic area, which I was taking to mean that it was gonna be some sort of more conventional type of septic versus just a tank in the ground kind of thing. And
Okay, that Chris would have to speak to. I guess we don't have any. We're not showing any of this on the civil plans at this time.
yeah, I know we do allow it, you know, as a last resort kind of thing. I just want to make sure that it's not a choice from the landowner
No,
to put in a holding tank versus the septic.
no.
If septic would be,
Rick here and I talked pretty hard, and that's kind of the uniqueness of commercial and septic, but we're very strong. We're going to try to get in septics. And I think he feels pretty confident in that. It's just, we wanted that in there because we weren't quite sure how this grading was going to go
Sure.
to be perfect. But the goal is to really get it in there. And I didn't want to bring it up. When we get them to design something, I didn't want to bring that too close to that cul-de-sac because it'd be a pinch point. I wanted to give the space and room in there to allow, you know, the trucks and things to come in. So I think that's kind of just a touch question with it. But I think the goal here is to get the proper septic in.
okay.
Whereabouts do you show the 300-foot shoreline setback on the plat? Is that down by the culvert on North Star?
Well, with it not being navigable, I
You
did
don't
not show
need it.
that. Don't need it.
But you still have to have the 75 feet.
That's right. That's on there for the wetland buffer. I think that's part of the comment. We didn't actually label that in the legend, but there is a line.
I didn't think that as you go to southwest that was wetlands.
Yes. Yeah, there's wetlands that run all through the waterway, all along it.
That's what Hans found.
Two different animals, navigable streamway and wetlands.
Okay.
You got kind of navigable streamway, you got wetlands, and you've got floodplain. No floodplain on the site. That's one animal gone. The next animal is navigable streamway, and then there's wetlands. Darn, you can have wetlands and fields that are getting farmed every day. Just nobody sees it, you know, unless you got some cattails and stuff laying around that nobody's farmed. But no, this was a delineation by, I think Rupert Milke. We did the delineation. He did a report on it and we located. So the line is accurate based on the
Okay.
flags marked in the field.
In lot 6 and 7, you're going to show somewhere on here that it's going to be a shared driveway.
I think the idea was to bring in off of 6, bring it in on the Vinnie Acres court, and bring in separate access along North Star Road to enter into 7. So we'll have one driveway somewhere coming in.
One time we ran a shared driveway between 6 and 7, right?
Yeah, right, that was,
Was that the idea? Is that in there?
Nick had in
Did he
his.
have it? Okay, I didn't see
I
it.
think that we talked about maybe lot 6 could have 2, it could have a shared driveway with 7 and then one on the court too.
6 coming out on, yeah.
So then you could have a horseshoe of, or you could
Okay.
have a through driveway. I think that's what was mentioned last time.
What page is that on? Or where did we say that? I didn't see that.
On page 1, the fourth one down of the dots,
Okay.
fourth dot down.
I guess I don't remember the shared driveway talk.
Does it need to be a shared driveway?
Yeah.
Can't 7 have its own
Yeah, that's
drive out of North Star?
We might have had that discussion before they redesigned all the lots at one time.
We did talk about
Oh,
a
yeah,
common
you're
driveway
right.
and stuff. and then
No,
the dots
that
got
was
changed.
talked about. I do remember that before we redid the configuration. That's right.
But, the question is it needed?
do it.
Now is a question, do we need the shared driveway? Do you want that shared driveway, Donnie, for 6 and 7? Or do you care?
Probably be.
You got a driveway coming out of
Development-wise,
lot 7.
whatever Chris thinks.
I think from a selling standpoint, I'd
Gives
say
them more
no.
room to take
Right,
up
right,
I'd agree.
their building,
Unless they agree to work
and
together.
not have to take up driveway.
Yeah, we know how that goes with neighbors, but
Buy a culvert.
Yeah, if I buy lot 7, I like it.
yeah, that's
Not
right.
lot 6.
But I
so-
mean, from a selling standpoint, we really tried to minimize anything coming into North Star Road besides the one entrance. 7's kind of sitting there on its own. It'd be one driveway coming out onto North Star. Everything else could enter in off of the court.
Did the county say anything about the name of the road?
Yeah, they mentioned, I think we just threw that in there. I'll take a look at an actual name, make sure that it fits what the county needs.
I like that. You have the acres in there. So instead of just Vinnie Court or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they'd have a problem with it.
No, I don't think so. I think there was some talk about floating around with Vinny being around too much, but I don't think it's a big deal. Vinny Acres
We said
Court.
that for a couple of years.
The biggest thing is just for emergency responses, if they get mixed up, and go to the wrong Vinny.
Don and Maryland's.
You can call it Keith's Road
Yeah.
for Keith Smallheim.
Mhm.
So the maintenance of the waterway, are you gonna share with Donnie? Or I should say, after everything's developed, obviously, will that be shared between the Houston development and the Vinnie Acres development? You guys know? Well, the way it's drawn now, I think we're gonna take most of the waterway, right?
Yeah.
But I thought that once the lots are sold, I think Steve talked about this one time, that once the lots are, I think Kim would probably be able to back me up on this, when they're 80% sold or something, then the town takes over the maintenance, then.
Yeah, that's what was talked about.
Yeah.
Then we
Right.
just pay
Then we just
80%.
kick it back to the.
We would
to the
assess
landowner.
the
Yeah, we
landowners
want
for
the
the cost of
landowners,
maintenance.
Yeah.
We would order the work to be done and
So when it gets done, then they'd be,
There is a jog, you'll see Houston's will control, and then as it comes around the bend, there is kind of a jog for engineering, getting water to go flow, and without it crossing lot lines and things like that, we decided to kind of keep it down the center of the waterway, just so water could could dump
Sure.
it.
Any idea what the DOT's gonna do with that acre or so at the southeast corner?
Yeah, not sure. That might be something maybe to look at, but I don't know.
Typically, when they fence them, Wade could probably answer that question to anybody else. I mean, when they fence stuff like that, they don't typically wanna sell anything, do they? Or,
I mentioned you
No.
should check into it earlier.
Yeah,
So what the hell are they gonna do with it?
don't know.
hey, gotta do it forever, and then one of these days you'll see it on Wisconsin surplus for DOT parcels somewhere up north, you know, some oddball thing that the state's decided to finally get rid of.
I don't see them giving up that piece. For some reason, I don't either. Yeah.
Not mow it?
Yeah. Make it look like crap.
It'd be nice to add it to lot one.
What I thought.
You hadn't contacted DOT to ask them what they're gonna do with it?
Yeah. I got some ideas.
Curious.
Yep.
You know, hate to see it sit empty and everything else look well maintained and have that grow up in box elders and they don't mow it.
That's what's there is an acre and a half in that corner.
Well, I know, I think it's for sure acre down there. Yeah.
I mean, I had to, that's why when the road went through, you know, they had to move it because it wasn't, how many feet it's gotta be from an intersection or whatever, and it was kind of a waste of land then, but I suppose they didn't look at it that way.
Well, it's like on the other side of 12 and 18, we got that little piece that's nothing. Where Off-Tune Road comes in,
You know,
between it and 12 and 18.
did you buy that piece, Chris, or on the one you were talking about at Altoon there?
No, I think they gave it to the town when they gave us Off-Tune Road.
Okay, so you guys are responsible for it. Well, the only reason why I asked that is because, I mean, who would you even, Chris, who do you even talk to and stuff?
I'll float that around.
I mean, yeah, because
I don't mind.
I mean, we bought some at Clifford Woods, Archie Woods chunk that was left over years ago. And I don't remember who we even talked to then to buy that.
I can start with, I'm trying to think of her name, off the top of my head. There's a couple people I can throw it about. They can guide me. See if they're interested.
Donating it to the landlord.
So Chris,
Anybody
have
else
you
have any-
pretty much matched everything Nick asked for on these pages then? You said you had a different plan that you had some stuff.
We had,
Bring it all.
before, before we kind of moved things around and stuff went to Houston, there was a whole different layout.
Right.
This is all different.
But
Which one?
Nick's got this letter of
Yep.
what he has.
I really went through it. I guess I didn't see the shared driveway. But stuff here is pretty straightforward. You kind of had a question about the 300-foot shoreline. I don't think there's nothing here that requires it. I'll just double check it. I'll make sure. But a lot of this stuff is just making sure I got the right easements on for the engineering plans, things like that. And I'll make all that. I'll put everything on there.
You want a motion on preliminary plan?
Well, if you're gonna, that would be your resolution. So I don't know, you wanna read through all the, conditions of that and make sure that that's got everything on there that you want. And I don't know if you wanna strike the thing about the shared driveway on that then. Cause that's on there too.
Yeah.
What's everybody's opinion with regard to the shared driveway between 6 and 7?
I'd say strike it.
Strike it?
Let number 7 have its own driveway.
It'd certainly be cleaner.
I think it'd probably be an easier marketable thing for him for one, and there's no reason to have a shared driveway, I don't feel. For what it's worth.
It's worth a lot.
So in Mark's letter, he has, mention of a cul-de-sac being 66 feet instead of
It's
70.
70.
And that's also in the resolution. So I don't know if you want that or not. Is that index on the other index yet?
The only reason I left it at 70, we've done other commercial plats, around other villages and things like that, or municipalities, and 70 is just a good number. You got big trucks and semis and intersections, and a little bit bigger is better with big trucks. I just think more maneuverability, but if we need to, we'll bring it down.
Oh, we've got 70
That
feet.
70 on the road, if you.
Yeah, we
any of the
did it up north,
roads.
for the,
Yeah.
So you want to strike that from the resolution too? That's item 6, Roman numeral 6, on page 2.
I'd leave it at 7.
Leave it at 70.
I'd strike it if he's got it drawn for 70 now, leave it alone.
right, but we just basically strike
On the
Roman numeral 6 off of the resolution then.
Only talking 4 feet. Big deal.
I'm sorry?
Only talking 4 feet.
Well, no, I agree, I agree.
So you're gonna strike that, and then you're gonna strike. As I sent you that resolution, right? You got that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, got it right in front of me.
Just a question. You got 66 feet here. Do you want him to give you 2 feet? And then when Swallem comes in here, you get 2 feet, so you have 70? I mean, originally it was only a 3-rod road and we had to buy it from the girls to get 66. Back when we redid that.
I remember that dealing with, what you call it. That was a pain.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to ask for 2 feet. We don't have it the rest of the way down, but
Where are you talking?
You want
North
another
Star.
2 feet of right of way on North Star? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
What did we take? Mark Rockford had a note on that. I should know, but. think he suggested a certain are you talking about the dedication? Yeah, he suggested something, but we went the bigger of the two. I'm not seeing where that is.
8, number 8.
Where do you see that? 8?
Oh, that's the right,
That's the cul-de-sac thing. Never mind.
Chris, is there a number in mind that you were thinking, or
2 feet.
2 feet extra? Yeah,
Because then when Smallheim comes for the east side, we can
Yeah.
ask for 2 feet and 70. And at some point, we pave it, we can widen it.
well, I'm positive we took the 2 feet. I think if you see under North Star Road there, it says dedicated to the public. There's a small little strip, and then we have like a little detail A off to the left. The little distance there, it says L4, but we should be showing it as, that L4 distance was like 2.7 feet. So that's gonna be a 2 foot dedication. I'm almost positive that
It
was
still shows, there's still a measurement of 66 feet showing for the road.
that's to the non-dedicated. And then there's an extra 2 feet with the dedication.
So is that extra 2 feet starting just
Well,
at the south, let's see, at the southeast corner
Yes,
of where that,
31.04 marker is.
yeah,
that,
with the circle around it, dot with the circle around it, is that
the
what you're?
dedication starts at, basically where Vinnie Acres Court starts. The reason we had to hold that road where it was because the DOT owns land to the south. And they're not gonna allow any type of access coming in, so that dedication is gonna start right at the curve, as it curves to the south, into where it says, if you guys can see where it says 14.09.
Yep.
Yep.
Where that curves in, there's a lot corner there, and that's where the dedication is gonna start.
Okay.
And then it's gonna go all the way up to where that end wall is, where the waterway comes across, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep,
Because everything to south of that DOT.
it's
owns.
DOT land, yeah.
And then we just continue that up with whomever develops north of that in
Yeah.
the future. For the
And then
Houstons.
you'd only have Capital Underground and
Benefits.
Benefits.
I mean. We could offer them $1 for that dedication.
Yeah.
Go to Stacksville. We'll go to Stacksville.
So that'll basically satisfy your request then, correct, Chris?
Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions, comments, concerns?
We strike,
Ideas,
strike E,
yes.
and we struck V. V and E.
BI,
six.
Roman numeral 6, yes.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
5 too, because look at 5 talks about, include no access vehicle line work in the legend of the plat and reduce limits to not interfere with the proposed shared access for 6 and 7. So that's gotta be changed somehow. I'm not
Which
really-
one did you say?
The one above.
Number 5, only number 5. I'm not really sure what that means, but it mentions the shared access.
And then E down the way talks about
Yeah,
getting shared access, even that's unneeded.
so is 5, Chris, do you understand what 5 is supposed to be saying, only number 5? Include no access vehicle line work in the legend to the plat, what does that mean?
My understanding with that is they took it, I don't know, it's kind of contradicting itself, but they took it away from lot 7, but it was to be maintained on 6.
Okay, so
Along
we should,
North
so that
Star.
whole thing
I
should
agree
be
with
struck
you.
then,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
Strike all of 5.
yeah.
Number 3, what is that? This is note identifying the party responsible for maintenance of the driveway culverts.
The owners of the driveways, when they put in a driveway, they have to pay for the culvert and they're responsible for it
Okay,
thereafter.
so it's just the owner. Okay.
Yeah, Note 15 has that on there. Some of the stuff we have on there, Note 15 is pretty common. If we got culverts coming in, we'll put that on a plat.
Yeah.
Okay, so to prevent another problem, all these lots are responsible for water getting to the outlet. And they're gonna be responsible for the maintenance, well, township's gonna do the outlet, but
We're in charge
we're gonna
back to
charge
them.
them. And it's all the lots, not just what we had a problem with Dwayne's.
Well, yeah, because there were lots that benefited from that stormwater system that weren't in the plat, so we
Right.
couldn't go back after them.
Okay,
But these will be, all be part of this plat, so it'll be recorded with the plat.
right.
Mhm.
Normal.
Yeah.
Now, so the question, will your land use some of that outlet? No, okay.
You have to have it separate.
It's on the wrong side of the ditch.
Again, sitting there looking and going, that flow down there, you know, okay, makes sense. You ready?
Let me get my pen out. Go ahead, Mr. Hampton.
Motion to approve resolution 2025-5-28 with C 5 and 6 deleted. E deleted, and you add request for the 2-foot right of way on North Star Road from that pin, wherever that 31.0,
Just, no, it'd be to the left of that.
just the
The
left,
one with the circle around it,
that,
correct?
yeah, 1800 something?
1409.
1409 feet, starting there to the north for a 2-foot dedicated to the public for the road right away.
Anything else?
No, I think that was all that we had.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Who said that? Oh,
Myler.
okay. Motion by Hampton, second by Myler to approve resolution 2025-05-28, striking Roman numeral 5, Roman numeral 6. This is all under paragraph C. And then striking also paragraph E and adding a 2-foot right-of-way dedication from the southeast corner of the cul-de-sac at what we're referring to as point 1409 all the way to the north end of the property. That about cover it?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have any questions?
G and H, and Mark Roper's recommendation.
Do you want to reference anything else about Nick or Mark's letters that isn't? You want to reference anything more, or do you feel this resolution covers everything important in those 2 review letters?
I guess we could reference the items in Mark Roffer's
Letter dated
Paragraph 9.
May 19th.
Yep. And what were you saying, Troy, about?
There was just in paragraph 9, there's G and H
Of Mark's.
of Mark's letter. He said in his up here, he just subject the following changes and details be incorporated into the final plat. Just G and H. That really we didn't hit on, or did we?
Well,
Number 9.
I think we'd have,
Yeah, 9 was
G and
Town
G and H.
ordinance in 1.
well, part of first, I think we'd be creating some confusion if we just wholeheartedly adopted Roffer's recommendation because of the
This resolution.
66 to 70 feet and
This resolution was drafted by the attorney and reviewed by both Mark and Nick, and they both liked it, just for what that's worth, so.
okay. We got one kick at the cat on this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I'd add anything.
We got
I'll call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
So this will go to the town board, we're not gonna try to do it Monday night. That's a little quick. The soonest it could go would be the 16th. So we'll plan on that unless you tell me that you're not ready for some reason.
No, I think we can get the changes made.
So I would want to see those by as soon as possible, but packets will go out the Thursday before because we close on Fridays now. So.
You said what, the 18th?
Monday is the 16th, isn't it? So I would want them, the sooner the better, because we'll have the attorney prepare another resolution for the town board, and if some of this is done, some of it might not even be in that resolution.
Sure.
We need the motion to adjourn.
What's that?
We need a motion to adjourn.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
I got it to you next week. That should be fine, right? Yeah,
Motion,
like
is there a
Wednesday,
second for
Thursday.
adjournment?
Thanks.
Motion by Myler, yeah, non-debatable, all those, David. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are out, thank you. Yeah, I just. I'm used to saying aye at this point of the meeting, you know?